Hello, Evolutionary Astrologer Bryan Colter here for your horoscope report for the upcoming Taurus new moon that happens on April 22nd or April 23rd, depending on where you're at on the globe. And this is a very powerful one. And before we discuss Taurus in great detail, let's talk about the planets. There's a couple major events right now, and it's very important for us to understand the current music of the spheres before we try to find the deeper meaning behind this Taurus new moon. Now, two major events are happening right now within this overarching major year of 2020. I'm calling the Great Awakening. But right now, the two headliners are the Pluto-Jupiter conjunction happening in Capricorn. I'm going to have some things to say about that. That's hitting a maximum pulse as Pluto's very strong right now, as we'll see. And the other one is the Saturn-Uranus are in a hard angle to one another, 90-degree angle, a friction-based aspect. So what the meaning of Uranus and the meaning of Saturn right now, they're kind of in friction with each other. Now, Uranus is also really potent in this story because not only is it square Saturn, but it's also next to this aforementioned Taurus new moon. So implicit in that is Uranus is currently next to the moon and is currently next to the sun in what's called a conjunction. But not only that, Uranus squaring that Saturn's in the planet of Aquarius. And Uranus rules the sign of Aquarius. So it's almost like we got 2 votes for Aquarius here. And repeat all that back to me. Obviously, I know it's a lot, but even if the family dog heard me, would have heard Uranus, sprinkled with a little bit of Saturn, which is the point. Okay. So what do these planets mean? Uranus and Aquarius are both about innovation, expansion of technologies, interconnectivity within communities and societies, working together, humanitarianism. But bottom line, it's about freedom, individuality, and liberation. So within this great awakening year, 2020, is kickstarting this more Aquarian energy, which we've just entered into the age of Aquarius, okay? So this is the beginning of this 2100-year cycle. And these energies are very, very stimulated now, in this year as a whole, but especially now, with Saturn square Uranus. Now, this is tricky, because remember, this is a square, hard angle. Saturn, much, much different. Okay, Saturn is about constriction, restriction, weighing down on us, has a weighty sort of feeling to it. It's about control, at least on the negative side. There's some great qualities about Saturn too. But we see the major theme here that I've discussed in other videos is the structures, old outdated structures of control are starting to collapse, okay? But now they're really starting to tighten the grip. And when you try to tighten the grip on Uranus, it does not like it, hence the square. Now, Saturn typically likes its grip to be squeezing very slowly, over long periods of time. And the power structures of this planet have been doing that. One of their strategies, which is very intelligent actually, has been throughout history to take the control over the public and slowly but surely tighten its grip. You can think of like a table vise or something where you turn the handle and the vise, closes in. Here we have the walls closing in on us. But they've known for a long time to just turn the handle ever so slightly, about once a decade, slowly taking away our freedoms, slowly taking away our wages and the amount we can make, relative to how much everybody else is making out there. The rich get richer, the poor gets poorer as they slowly turn the crank, through our governments, through our laws, and all those structures. But now they're cranking much, much faster, okay? And this is what this Great Awakening is all about. I don't know if they're getting desperate or if they need the change to happen now for whatever reason, but they're leaving their general overarching strategy of those slow cranks, and they're starting to go really quickly. Meanwhile, freedom is on the horizon. There's a feeling here of something's got to give. Something's got to give. And, the imagery that whenever I think of Saturn interacting with Uranus, especially through a square or an opposition, I think of the log jam giving away. There's a slow buildup of water over time, and then finally it's just too much for the logs to bear, and they all break away, and then the water floods through the land and changes the landscape forever. Okay, so this is all kind of big picture stuff. Not saying this is going to happen today, okay, but this is the feeling, this is the energy, the music of the spheres, the energy currently, filtering through collective consciousness. Now, with the Jupiter-Pluto, before we get to that, let's talk about another couple planets I forgot to mention. And that's Mercury and Eris in Aries. And Eris is a planetoid or an asteroid. And there, Mercury and Eris are right next to each other in the sky, forming another square. Notice we got a couple squares here. Square to the Jupiter-Pluto. And Mercury is the planet of communication, the messenger of the gods, the planet of our own cognitive abilities and intelligence, the planet of perception and thoughts. And here we have it in Aries, the warrior. Okay, so our intellect feels a little sharper now. Our words are probably a little sharper now. Okay, a little bit more dramatic, which we'll say some things about that later. But especially when it's next to Eris, because Eris is about competition. It's about the urge to fight back when being slighted. So it's kind of some chili powder there. And then it's in the square to that really juiced Pluto and Jupiter. And what makes this so strong is that Pluto is supercharged right now because it's effectively stationing. It stations officially on the 24th, but since it's such a slow-moving body out there, it's been effectively stationing for some days now. And whenever a planet is stationed, it is at its maximum pulse. And Pluto is about extremity anyways. It tends to build up the energy of any planets it's touching. But when it's stationing, it's like, it's kind of a volatile cocktail here. And then add Jupiter too with its expansiveness. It's a time for very high drama, okay, for revolution. So people coming together to revolt, feeling slighted, wanting to fight back. Now, this isn't the highest way to work with this energy, because a lot of it stems from anger, which is Aries. But Jupiter-Pluto does bring about a lot of planetary-wide geopolitical changes and pressures and shifts. Of course, we're all feeling that in a big way. But Jupiter-Pluto at the high end, and it has a very high end because Jupiter that has that expansive quality to it. It's the greater benefic. The high end of Jupiter-Pluto is people coming together to better society, to increase our collective moral character as well as our own personal moral character. Okay, so, there is a high ceiling and the potential here. And then Pluto, the so-called god of hell, it's about really the phoenix diving into the ashes to be reborn. So the symbolism around Pluto and Jupiter is diving down into the depths, but when we rise back up, we're far better than we were before we went into the depths. So we have these variety of big whopper planets interacting with each other now. Uranus, the god of earthquakes and lightning bolts, in a square, next to the new moon, but also in a square to that Saturn, the greater malefic, and the sign of the rebel, the revolutionary, which is Aquarius. So we have that major component. And then we have the other set piece here, the stationing Pluto next to Jupiter, super, super strong, in a square to that dramatic Mercury in Aries next to Eris. Okay. So, again, something's got to give. The vice is cranking much, much faster now. The log jam is about to give away. Another image we could use is the train is about to hit the tube of toothpaste, and it's going to make a mess, Now, There's a high end to work with this energy and there's a low end. We'll see a mixture of both as always. Yeah. And with evolutionary astrology, I'm always trying to pinpoint, okay, what's the best way we can work with this energy? Why? Because the more we work with the energy in an evolved way, the faster we grow, the faster we evolve. And this is how we can work with the symbols, okay, instead of against them or just ignore they're there. Now let's add some Taurus into the mix. Taurus is an earth sign. Earth signs like things grounded, solid, down to earth. Taurus likes simplification. All the other symbols I was talking about were pretty dramatic. Taurus doesn't really have much patience for drama. Taurus the bull is the common archetype, but really it's any animal. So Taurus the animal spirit. Taurus the sign most deeply connected to Mother Earth, the ancient wisdom of the animal world and of ancient Earth. Now, I named this video Awaken the Beast Within. And beast is a good word for Taurus. Okay? But when describing those energies before, the Uranus square the Saturn, the high drama of the Jupiter-Pluto squaring the Mercury, whoa, that can get pretty intense. That can get pretty angry. People wanting to fight back, feeling they've been slighted by this vice that's cranking so much quicker now. The train hitting the toothpaste tube. So it's not like awaken the dragon beast within. Okay, that's one option. And we'll see some of that, I'm sure. It's more like awaken the peace beast within. And what does that look like? Well, instead of revolting angrily, maybe revolting Gandhi style is more appropriate here. Now, still, we can look at this, I've been kind of talking about this energy more on a global level. We can zoom it down into our houses, which we're kind of stuck in for now. And the high drama, as I've outlined it, is happening in a lot of households around the world too. And it's, it's kind of interesting to look at those memes that you see all over the internet because you kind of get your fingers to the pulse of some common themes that we're all experiencing. I've seen many, many memes that kind of joke or poke fun at the idea that the divorce rate is going to skyrocket post-quarantine because people are stressed out. And the planets, as I've been describing them, really describe that level of stress that's building up collectively. People are stressed financially. Some people think it's, the coming apocalypse. People are getting really antsy. Life as we know it has completely changed. And some people, not all, but some people don't like change. Change can be very scary. Okay. And when we're stressed out, the more negative sides of our character, the flawed parts of our personality that stem from egoism and our own wounding come out to play more easily because we're stressed out. Hence the high drama within a lot of households, hence the jokes around the high divorce rate. This reminds me of a story, actually. I don't know if I've told this one before, but many years ago, I was backpacking through Yosemite with a good friend of mine. And it was a long trip. It was like 17 or 18 days where we packed in all the food with us. So I had like a 60 or 70 pound pack. I remember it was pretty brutal. But we were about halfway through our journey and hiking in the middle of the day. And we stopped at a big rock to take a water break. Okay, and there we are just resting. And we see somebody starting to come towards us. It's like a long, narrow, long, straight pathway. And we see somebody in the distance coming towards us, which is pretty rare out there, Not a lot of people hiking out in Yosemite, at least where we were. And this person gets closer and we're just enjoying our break and we make eye contact because you want to say hello to somebody. You haven't seen anybody in a while. And it's this lady's coming towards us and she doesn't make eye contact. She has a big scowl on her face and she just blows right by us. And you could just feel her anger gremlins fuming. And we're thinking to ourselves, wow, that's a bit odd. There's nobody else around. It's just her. And she's just livid. You could see it all, all through her energy body. And then a little bit later, we see another person come. And it's a guy about the same age, I think. And he walks towards us and he makes eye contact and he smiles. He says hello. We say hello and he goes on. And then a little bit later, a third person comes. And it's an older fella. And he decides to take a water break in the same rock that we're at and, enjoying a nice little conversation there at 10,000 feet. And we come to find out that the two people that previously passed us were married. They were engaged, fiancés. And this guy, the older guy, was the dad of the man, okay, and the father-in-law, or soon-to-be father-in-law of the woman. And, it's like, oh, are you guys together? And we connected the dots, and he's like, yeah. It's like, I'm dad. And it turns out through conversation that they were engaged to get married, but no longer. Their marriage ended on that long trip out in the middle of Yosemite. And we got the impression from that conversation that the father it was his idea for them to get out together, the three of them, out into the wild. And we got the impression that the reason he encouraged that was to really see how strong the foundation of the relationship was. Because in his very Taurus-like, earthy, grounded wisdom, he knew that backpacking out in the wilderness was a severe test and was very stressful on the physical body, but also on our psyches. And then that caused drama between the two that was probably latent there already, but hit a maximum pulse in this high-stress situation, and it deteriorated the relationship. And we're experiencing something similar. Not all of us, obviously, but many are, especially those who have planets in their own personal chart, which are probably in hard aspect to those planets I talked about earlier. Those people are feeling it the most. So the evolutionary intention is the same. Even people who are experiencing that, awaken the peace beast within. Now, always when looking at these horoscopes, we want to look to the planet that rules Taurus. I already talked about it, Venus. Venus is in a square to Neptune right now. And what's interesting about this is Venus, yes, is the goddess of peace and tranquility, as I said, but it's also the goddess of love. It's the relationship planet. And Neptune, the other planet that's talking to Venus, is the collective consciousness, God consciousness, very mystical, spiritual planet. You could say it's about unconditional love. And then you could say Venus, the more human love, is innately conditional. So we have love's two planets squaring off with each other. Yet another square. Notice all the friction here. So trying to get to a place where, even in the face of high drama, if we experience that, in that place of calm. It's always about calm, circling back to Taurus and Venus. Peacefulness in the face of high drama. It's like, your partner gets triggered, his little gremlin of defiance comes out, or this is an injustice, I must stand up for myself. Whatever his egoism is projecting in the moment, or maybe it's coming from you, and then they play off of each other. The other person's gremlin comes out to play, and then we have a little gremlin fight. Where our emotional bodies are at odds with each other. And it's very strong energy. It's compelling. Okay? But it's not unconditional love. We forget about unconditional love in that moment. Yeah. So recognizing that these energies are very heightened right now and having compassion not only for ourselves, but for the other people in our house. If you have kids, maybe you don't have a partner. Maybe it's just you and the kids. Kids are probably acting a little crazy. Maybe, the brothers and sisters are fighting. To calm them down, give them some Taurian activities. Remember, earthiness, groundedness. Taurus reminds us of the things we've always known, is that peace is really a very simple thing. Okay? We achieve it through simplicity. We achieve it through body-centered awareness. Taurus is in the body, the most sensual of all the signs. Okay? And I don't want you to confuse that with sexual. Okay? It's just sensual, of the senses. Now, sex is a part of Taurus too, because it's in the body. So, stimulating that inner calm, may come through orgasms, that's a wonderful thing, okay? But that's not really the point. It's living through the five senses, being utterly in the present moment. So this heightened stress can bring out our negative inner beasts. And if that happens, sink into the stillness, into the calm, and just feel the body. And let's say you get really angry or something, you'll feel it strongly. But just don't feed it any negative thought or any emotion. Just sit with it, with peacefulness. Show yourself unconditional love. Show others unconditional love. So that you can raise your consciousness to such a degree to where you're not feeling that anymore. And also do earthy animal actions around your house. If you can get out of your house, great. Taurus, daily walks out in nature is a wonderful thing, especially like barefoot or something, so that you can connect with the ions of the earth. Okay, it's very helpful to our body. Now, but if you can't get out, do earthy actions around the house. Maybe it's time to start a little, garden or hydroponics garden. You can order it on Amazon or something. I don't have affiliate links below, that's just a suggestion. Tending to, the simple things of greenery around the house, connecting with your animals if you got them. Building something. If you live with your family, build something together. Create something together. And if you have trouble with your partner, when things have calmed down, give a peace offering, say, hey, let's trade massages here. Or maybe not even a trade, just give them a massage. And feel the cells of your body relax just because of touch and the mysteries of touch. Taurus, again, reminds us of the things we've always known. That peace and serenity is just a very simple thing, and the trick is living each moment second by second and knowing when to breathe in and breathe out again. So we're awakening the peace beast within. That's the absolute, no matter all this intense energy that's going on, it always circles back to that. And the more peaceful we are within the storm, that we can keep our consciousness at a very high level. And the more we do that, the more we grow. And that's really the evolutionary intention here, to expand our consciousness. And I really hope you love this video. If you've had any similar experiences or thoughts about anything I've said, I encourage you to leave a comment below. Also, if you have any cool video ideas that you'd like me to do or anything you'd like me to talk about, I'd love to hear about it so I can engage with you more deeply. Or if you just want to say hi, that's cool too. But I look forward to what you say. And at this point of the video, as usual, we're going to transition into the meditation. And it's best used with headphones because I use binaural beats. Enjoy. Get in a nice, comfortable position with a straight spine. And start breathing rhythmically and comfortably. Breathe into your belly as you inhale and exhale from your belly. Don't pause between breaths. Rhythmic, comfortable breathing. Pay close attention to your heartbeat. See if you can feel the rhythm of your heart, the pulse of life. And coordinate your breath with your heartbeat. 4 beats of the heart per inhale, and 4 heartbeats of the breath per exhale. In, out. Nice, easy breathing. Now, bring your attention down to both of your feet and see a snow white color in both of your feet. See it radiating within and outside of your feet. A beautiful white color. Each time you breathe, you see the color get brighter and brighter. Now move up to the ankles. Feel the ankles relax. And now see the white color in your entire lower legs and in the calf muscles. Feel the warmth of this color in your legs. Now up into the knees. Now both thighs at the same time. Beautiful snow white color. Now in both hips. Now I want you to feel both legs at the same time. Feel both of your entire legs and see with a snow white color. Now bring your attention up to your stomach area. And see a sky blue nebula form in your entire stomach area. See it move and flux as you breathe. It has its own rhythm. And keep seeing the blue get brighter and brighter. And you breathe into your stomach, see the color get stronger. And as you breathe out, see the sky blue color ripple out through your entire body like a wave. Relaxing your entire body. Four beats per exhale. 4 heartbeats per inhale. In, out. Now bring your attention down to your pelvic floor, your root chakra area. And see your root chakra become infused with a bright white light. Now bring your attention down into the earth below you. Sink your attention down, 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 deep into the earth, drilling into the earth with your consciousness to connect with its ancient wisdom. Feel into her energy. Feel into how much she has witnessed. Mother Earth has a very calming effect as you connect to it through your root chakra. All the way to the center of the earth. Now I want you to see your energy connect with the energy of Earth and feel Earth's energy come up into you through your root chakra. And fill your entire body with a brilliant yellow color. Now I want you to visualize yourself out in nature. Somewhere. Go to your favorite place. Visualize your own nature sanctuary. Whether it's a beach or a mountain or a river or a beautiful grassy field. Visualize yourself there. What do you see? See as much detail as you can. What are you hearing? Do you hear the birds chirping? Do you hear the rustling of grass against the wind? What are you tasting? What are you touching? Use all the senses in this very holographic image you're creating with your mind. See the animals that are there at their natural habitat. Feel into the silence. Now I want you to visualize a beautiful red rose growing out of the ground, all by itself. And you go over to the red rose and you pick it out of the ground and you hold it in your hands before you. Visualize the red rose in your mind's eye. See its very vivid and velvety petals. See how they fold out from the center. Feel its very hard, waxy stem and its sharp thorns. Notice its very veiny leaves. It's such a thing of beauty. Hold this red rose up to your nose and inhale its fragrance. You can actually smell it. Connecting with one of Earth's creations, you feel peace in your heart. The rose is a symbol of peace. Hold this special red rose in your hands and visualize somebody in front of you. Somebody who you wish to give this peace offering. Visualize them in front of you and hand them the rose with love in your heart, with unconditional love and compassion. Give them this gift from your heart to theirs. And see this red rose enter their hearts, where it can now do good works. Now return to your natural habitat in your mind. See it as vividly as you can. And say goodbye to your sanctuary. Tell all the animals you'll come back again. And turn around and leave. Now bring your awareness back into your entire body. Feel your entire body all at once. Feel every cell of your entire body. See every cell illuminated from within, shining brightly in all directions. Now, slowly bring your conscious awareness back into the room, into the present moment. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. That's the end of this meditation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.